Welcome and welcome to the show. I am your host, Joey Wobbs. Link is here somewhere. Surprisingly enough, I didn't expect him to be here, but that is awesome that he is here. And we got a guest here today, my good friend Staffy TV. We are going to be talking about a lot about Manchester United today. That is really what the subject of the show is going to be on. Me and Link, we're going to talk about our games a bit and what we have going on for the week like we always do. But today's show is for our guest. We have questions for our guest about his club and what's going on and what's the plan for January, because January is around the corner. And we'll talk a little bit about the plans for some of our clubs if we have time. I don't think this will be more than an hour, to be honest. And like to get started, but Link's gone, so let's just start with Staffy. Staffy, how we doing today, man?
I'm here.
Yeah. Well, you're not here, so it's all right. We'll
Big
get there.
choppy.
We'll get there, Gunner. We'll get there. Staffy, my G, what's going on, my dude?
Good, bro. Good. I mean, I'm good. My team probably isn't, but I'm good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it's nice to be
I
here.
mean, our team is doing good, right? Like our team is doing
The
good.
Knicks, yeah. I mean, if we're
Our
talking
team.
this and that
Oh,
basketball,
it's a
I'm
basketball
down.
stream.
So we could at least be happy about one. Both of us can be happy about one of our teams, right? Like that is always something that we can talk about. That though today is about Manchester United. Link, I know you just came from like Christmas dinner, right? Like that's what that's why I didn't expect you. Like, what's going on, my guy? Like,
I'm loving life. I got to Christmas, and then my family decided to go play billiards, and I was like, well, I was just gonna set up in a random room, so I'm gonna go home. So I'm
hey,
doing great, man. Filled with love. Happy holidays to everyone. Um, yeah, yeah.
glad you
I'm
made it
happy to be
home.
here. Stoked
I
that's
know you have some FIFA goals to accomplish. You have some objectives to get taken care of tonight. I know you have a couple
I
Evos you need to finish up. I know you got a lot of other shit that you need to take care of on your end that we talk about
I
on a daily basis. But we
I
won't
have
get into
so
that
much.
because today is about Manchester United. Uh, Staffy, uh, let's talk.
Thought you
Let's
said
talk a little
Knicks.
bit
Why would
about.
you go back on your word now?
Let's talk about Bournemouth, bro. Let's talk about Bournemouth quick. We're gonna go through all of our games. We'll start with your game first. Let's just tell us a little bit of what happened, because like for me, I didn't get to watch it obviously because it was at the same time as
VHS.
my game. Link probably was watching my game, knowing the way that if he was watching a football game, he was probably watching my game, and like just keeping an eye on the score, knowing him. Um, Tell us a little bit about what happened and like what how did it get to 3-0? Like just tell us a little bit about what was the breakdown in the game pretty
If
much.
if 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 I'm being honest, well, to be fair, I try to be honest as much as I can when I talk about this team. But to be honest on what I saw, I mean, it's one of those where I was surprised, but I was not surprised. It's like, when someone consistently lets you down, and that meme where it's like my expectations were low, but holy shit. That's what I feel like when I watch United lose games. Because it's like I'm already expecting you guys to do something where I'm like, yeah, you let me down again. Forget letting me down, letting the manager down again. And it's just like it's one of those I watched and I'm like, we could have easily been 1 or 2 nil up, and instead now we're losing 3-0. And it's because you guys individually are just not good players. You're individually letting yourselves down, you're letting your team down, and you're letting the manager and the fans down. We didn't play a bad game. We made individual mistakes that we got punished for. But I could tell you the same thing about the Forest game a week ago. And I could tell you the same thing, not a week ago, it was more than a week ago. I could tell you the same thing about the
But it
Spurs game.
seems like the consistent theme.
Exactly. Which is why, and we'll get into maybe that comparison a little bit. When we lose now, I look at it completely different than how we lose versus Ten Hag. Because I look at the way we set up, I look at how and when we can see chances, when we create chances, how good our chances are. And I can look at the day and be like, we let ourselves down today. So the Bournemouth game, another game where we had higher XG, more chances created, more shots taken, yet we lost the 3 points again. I saw a stat where they compared the XG in the last 2 games where we lost to Spurs and Bournemouth, and the XG that we created versus what we conceded. We've had both games individually and combined. Obviously, we had the higher XG. And I think the XG accumulated against us was about 3, but we conceded 7 goals. And I
Sure.
think we generated about 5, but we only scored 3 goals. So it's not hard to tell. You look at that, you're like, all right, you underperformed your scoring XG, and you underperformed also the XG conceded because you conceded more than you should have. And the stats don't lie. We have more possession, we have more big chances created, we have more shots taken, but yet we lost another game. Bruno missed an easy I wouldn't say one-on-one chance, but low-key was a
But yeah,
one-on-one.
no, I saw the chance though. I saw the
Yeah,
chance.
if you watch the extended highlights at
Yeah,
least in
yeah,
the
I
game,
did. I
you
watched the
saw
extended highlights, but like I feel like sometimes it doesn't tell the whole game still. You know what I
no,
mean?
of course.
You know,
It
so
doesn't
like
always.
that's why I want to ask that question.
No,
Like,
of course. It doesn't always tell you the true story,
mhm,
but outside of those big chances that you saw us miss, the Garnacho one, the Hoyland one, the Rashford
mhm,
one, the Ahmad one, we didn't, as a team, we didn't look bad. Like Emery has been let. I think he's been let down so far because you look at United compared to Ten Hag. That's the comparison we need to make, right? Because we
mhm,
sacked Ten Hag to improve, so we got an Emery. Has Emery made this team improve collectively? I think he did. When you look at United now, you see a better defensive shape. You see a better midfield. You don't see us getting sliced open like we used to for about 2.5 years. So we don't get opened up. You see us creating a lot more chances. We're getting in better goal scoring opportunities. We're actually threatening the goal more. So on both sides of the pitch, we've improved collectively. But there's only so much a manager can do when you have your attackers missing all their chances. They can't finish their dinner, and you have on the other side Mazraoui. I don't want to overpower on him because he's been very good, but he did make a mistake and give away that penalty, silly penalty. You look at the goal, the third goal. Martinez once again can't defend his box. This guy can't defend his box if his life depended on it, and he's a center back. And it's been shocking. And I've been calling out for months. But United fans want to call him the butcher. They want to do this. They want to do that. And the guy's a complete liability. And the goal actually started by once again Bruno losing the ball needlessly in the midfield, and it led to a counter that we conceded from. These are things that you can't blame a manager for because the manager's not telling you, hey, when you get the ball in the middle of the pitch, make a stupid Hollywood pass that is going to lead to a counter attack. He's not telling Martinez, hey, when you have to one-on-one defend, be an absolute liability. And we've seen Solanke cook him the other day. Now we've seen, I forgot who scored that goal. I think it was Semenyo. He cooked them as well. We've seen him
mhm.
get cooked in the Forest game. Too many individual errors. And the issue is like too many individual errors happen in the same game in too many repetitive games. Like bar the City game where I don't think when we conceded the goal, to be fair, it was a little bit poor defending, but it was a deflected cross. So it's a little bit unfortunate.
Mhm.
Bar the City game, that's 3 of the last 4 games where I'm looking at our players. I'm like, we lost the 3 points today because of you. Onana wanted to fumble the Forest game, him and Martinez. Now, last game, I just named some. They had Bayender and whoever in the Spurs game. It's too many individual mistakes. And it tells us more of what a lot of us already thought. The manager needs to replace too many players. And I'm not going to lie. And obviously, I'm going to let someone else speak because
You
I've
know,
been
I don't
talking
want you to get
long.
too far into that part because I want us to talk about our
Okay,
game
yeah, that's fine.
before we do some transfer talk because I do want you to get because that is going to be like a big part of how
Yeah,
what
we'll mention it again. Yeah, I hear it. Go ahead.
But yeah, so I do want to touch on the game just a bit. Um, I'm starting to wonder about the way he's using Bruno. Okay, and I feel like is there like a force of Nate? Like it's like it almost feels like he because he's the captain, like your captain or the captain of the team. He's like put into this position that he has to play, right? And it almost doesn't feel like he's playing in the right place. Like, and
What is the right
then
place? That's the question. What is the
like
right place?
Best question.
And,
right.
and
What
I
is
can
the
tell you
right
what,
place is a phenomenal question for this, but that's a whole nother subject realistically. Like
okay,
that
so
really is a
when you
whole
really
I
think of
have
it,
another
actually, it's
question.
not. What's that?
I have another question. Is how many people, not ability wise, but player profile, actually fit into these tactics?
That's a great question, and actually feeds into what I want to say. I don't think that Bruno is being forced. In a way, he is, but not because like I don't think Amram looks at Bruno. He's like, "Yo, I like him so much that I have to play him every time." I think he looks at what he has. He's like, "Bro, I am forced to use him because I got nothing else." So, what outside of Casemiro, who I don't rate, you guys already know I can't stand Casemiro as a footballer.
Mhm.
I think he's absolutely washed. I look at him and I'm like, who am I supposed to put in that double pivot? And probably the only answer would be Mainu. And I don't really like Mainu there. I think I was like, let me see how it
I
works.
feel like
I
that's
don't really like it. I don't think
misprofiling
he has the
him.
legs for it. I think the way that he plays football, he should be having 1/3 of the pitch only. I don't think he should be controlling a whole
Well,
half. And
the
I don't
nice
know
thing
that.
is if he does the 10 roll, that left 10, it's a quarter bit. It's a quarter that he has to guard. So it's not
Or a
even
third. I always like
it's
to
a
look at the
quarter
pitch
third,
as two as
and
three
that
thirds.
makes it so much easier on his legs. He's a box crasher. There's natural ability to be able to crash the box, and he knows how to dribble. He can get around a guy. So it's like to me, I keep on thinking, man, like one thing that he said in the press conference that really impressed me was Bruno. We know what he is. We need him further. It was pretty much saying we need him further back. We need him. We don't need him. We need him facing the goal, but being able to pick up the ball from and at times it made sense to play him in that pivot with Ugarte because Ugarte was running around. You could get the ball to Bruno. He sprays it into a wide area for your winger to go pick it up. Like it just I this whole Mainu thing is just frustrating because he's such a talented player, and it feels like okay, like I get the Casemiro aspect of it too, right? Like Casemiro, it should probably be him next to Ugarte, but you probably shouldn't be playing him with the way that you want if you want to move him on and making sure that he doesn't get injured before the January window and you move him on because he's on 300K a week. The same kind of thing that they're doing with Rashford, except Casemiro didn't go and do an interview, right? Casemiro is just being silent. He's going to be probably the other one that's moved in this January window. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But this whole I feel like until you go and you get a midfielder to put next to Ugarte, that you're confident that he is confident with. Mainu is going to continuously be misprofiled. I just don't think he is this type of player. And then you're muted, my friend. You're muted.
Oh, my bad. I said I think he needs to learn a role, and that's the one thing that I wouldn't say worrying me, but it's a bit of a concern right now
Mm-hmm.
because he debuted in a 4-3-3,
Mm-hmm.
got injured. He generally got injured and came back to a new manager. Like when Emery came in, Mino was out for a month. So imagine
Right.
you left football for a month and you came in and there's a new manager with a new system, and he's very young. And that was one of my concerns on the Ten Hag. I was like, I don't want Ten Hag for too long because Menu is individually a good player. He's not playing good in a system. He's not effective in a system. And he needs to learn that at his age because he debuted at 18 and now he's 19. Those are the years where you don't learn how to play football as the fundamentals of football. No one's going to teach you how to kick a ball, head a ball, pass a
Right.
ball. These are the things you already have. It is their job at this age to teach you how to play in an effective system and being effective in a team. So Maino's job right now is to learn how to play in a team where he has a role and he's effective in it. He didn't get the under Ten Hag, and now obviously he's playing a new role. And this new role only has two midfield options. You're one of the pivot or you're
Mm-hmm.
one of the tens. Which one are you similar to? I think ideally Mainu would work in a midfield three, but that's no longer an option because we don't
Right.
play that. I prefer him more as an 8. Now he needs to learn how to play a little bit deeper or a little bit higher. And I don't think his physical stature is for a player that plays deeper. I know you. I think you can shoehorn him there sometimes when you need him because he's good on at the ball retention. He's a decent passer. He can play under pressure. He's good on the half turn. That's good. But I think his best ability will probably fit the 10 to what I've seen right now. But the issue that we will have until the end of the season or until January, because I don't think we'll address that position in January, but let's say maybe we will. Until the transfers happen, we don't have someone who is fully a natural double 6 or an 8 in that double pivot that we played. Like we don't have a natural partner for Ugarte. And I
Yep.
keep always using the example. I use two examples at Chelsea. both of them were with Conte. I said Fabregas and I said Jorginho. Obviously, one of them was under Conte and one of them was under what is his name, Tuchel. I said Ugarte, and people misunderstand me every time I say this. I'm not saying he's as good as Conte. Stylistically, he's a Conte. So
Yep.
he's our version of Conte in this system. He's the guy that runs low
You
center
need
of
the ball
gravity.
kicker next to Conte, though. You need the guy to be able to
Exactly.
keep the ball.
I need to
ticking
find my
next to
Fabregas or
Conte that can
my
break the
Jorginho
line
right.
and keep that
100%.
ball ticking throughout that process.
100%.
In theory, right? Erickson should be able to do that but he has no legs to be able to.
And he lacks a lot of physicality. I'll be honest. He's too unphysical. Like Jorginho wasn't a physical player, but Jorginho was
and that's
he
why
was much younger.
If my problem is if you could rein back what Bruno does, if you rein back that long ball,
he's too old, bro. For you, you can't
do
teach an old. What's to say you can't teach an old?
No. It's not teach a dog old tricks. It's it's trying to remove a bad habit, but it does not have that in him to get that bad habit.
The thing
that's
is,
what it is. It's literally removing a bad habit at the age of 30. When you at the age of 30, you're not removing a lot of the habits that are in your life. It's just what it is. What you're at age 30 is who you are most of the time. That's what it is. That's where he is. He's nearly 30. Everyone's like that though. I'm 32. I'm not changing. I'm gonna be like this for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not changing. I'm not gonna be changing my habits. That's my habits. Like I don't need to. But you know what I'm saying? But that's who he is right now. And like, all right, so like Link, let's get to your game because your game was fun to watch. It was a spectacle. My game was boring as fuck. So like you can go and you talk about your destruction of the chicken. You didn't just fry chicken, bro. You burnt it. You burnt the chicken, bro. That shit was burnt afterwards, bro. You couldn't even eat it afterwards. It was so burnt. It's like I said I was gonna fry chicken, Link. You burnt the fucker. Like, what are you saying?
I wasn't thinking. I'm good, but like, so this is my thing. So I've been telling you for like weeks, probably months, that we're going to hurt somebody soon. You have that demolition of a team.
You said someone's getting and
it finally happened. Yeah.
It
finally happened, and I didn't think. I thought we would win, but I was a little bit wary of their attack, and they did score 3 goals. So I do understand that, but it's you have like all the players, and like shout out to my number 8 that a lot of people give slack to.
He's been playing well.
The map performance.
Szoboszlai's been playing well, man.
Competition, and we can talk about Szoboszlai some other time, but Slot, it's all about Slot. Like the fact that he tweak his tactics from game to game and find solutions, and he did it again. Like I don't understand Andrew's tactical naivety. I don't know why you would play this continuously high line with players that are low on fitness, and you have no squad depth right now because of injuries. So it's like Gray is a defensive mid. He's played most of his senior time at outside back, and he's got to go against Diaz and Salah. It was never going to be a recipe. So I'm happy we won the game.
I'd say Gray and Spence. I'd say Gray and Spence. Not like Spence is a left back. He's a right back, actually.
Yeah.
A right
Spence
wing
right
back, actually. Like he's not even a right back. He's a right wing back. Like he's not even like they should be playing a 3 if they had enough defenders. But they decided in the beginning of the year that Ben Davies could be the backup at left back and then the backup center back. But what happens when Ben Davies goes out? This is what happens. You fucking lost both your center backs, and now you got this poor fucking 18-year-old kid playing center back, and he's getting cooked every week. Like, and you want to know what, Link? If you had Archie Gray, let's just be realistic. If you guys had Archie Gray, he would play 25 games for you this year and be a solid contributor in midfield. And a solid contributor in midfield.
Maybe.
He would never have to do this.
Never.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He would never have to do this. But this is what squad planning does, okay? This is what squad planning is, all right? We'll get to a little bit more about squad planning with Manchester United because this is something big topic that I want to speak on their team with. But that team is absolutely ran horribly. It is ran every year. I walk into the year thinking we'll beat Spurs again, no matter where we are and how bad we are. We'll beat Spurs again because normally we beat Spurs, but just the way that they plan their team overall, it never works. The one time they did, but listen, the one time they did plan their team correctly, they went to a Champions League final and got second in because they sold Bale, and guess what they did? They bought pieces. Players. They just cut. They had a 25-man, 28-man squad. When they sold Bale, they bought 8 different guys, I'm pretty sure. And not that all of them were good, but they had 8 different guys. You know what I'm saying? You have to be deep in this league. That's just what it is. Like, if you're not deep, you will suffer. It is plain and simple. And when I was talking beginning of the year with, like, mostly me before we started this podcast, but, like, when I was speaking on Never a Foul and all these other I had to answer for 35, 40 players, and most of them weren't even on our team. Now everybody else is dealing with injuries, and we have these 35, 40 players or 35, 40 players supposedly, but we ain't worried about no injuries. We got injuries. It's not like we don't got injuries. We got 2 center backs out. What happens when Spurs had 2 center backs out? You put Archie Gray out there. That's what happened. You see what squad planning does? We had Reece James out. We had Kukurea out in the last game. We had 4 defenders out. If Spurs had 4 defenders out, they have Jed Spence going out there, Archie Gray going out there. After 4
let's be honest, Joey, you're a more serious footballing institution than Spurs. Like,
well, I know. I'm not saying about the institution overall. I'm just
you're laughing, Link, but it's true. Like,
you just said it so plainly.
This is you.
No, like seriously, as a pure footballing institution, Chelsea is a more serious institution than Spurs. 100%. Spurs can compete with Chelsea financially. Yeah, you can look at both of them. They're like, oh yeah, both of them make good money. Oh, Spurs actually have a better stadium. They have Beyonce. They have F1 races or whatever. Other than that, I mean, bro, come on, like, they're not as serious football.
The club ethos is completely different. Like,
Spurs, one club cares about football, one doesn't.
Yeah. Sometimes it's
that's probably too much on Spurs. I'll talk about Chelsea. It was boring as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Everton was just classic Sean Dyche, bro. Like, I messaged you. You woke up in the morning and messaged me, like, what happened? You weren't even talking about the game. And I said, we got Dyched. That's what I said. We got Dyched. Because literally, it was a Dyche masterclass, bro. But in the first half of the game, right? This is a great stat. First half of the game, they had 15 fouls. Not 1 yellow. In the first half, 15 fouls, not 1 yellow. It was a Diego Simeone special. Is exactly how you play against a young team like us. You hack them to hell. Everyone's saying Ashley Young pocketed Sancho. No, Ashley Young came out with the hatchet and started hacking Sancho down with the axe, bro. He came with the axe and started hacking his shit down, bro. That's why he had to get hooked with the yellow, because he was going to get that red card if he kept on playing in that game.
Man of the ball, but never both.
Yeah, well, that's a damn fact. Especially when you can do that 4 or 5 times and not get a yellow. You know what I'm saying? If you could do that, if you do that 3, 4 times, bro, I know. I played a game. I played that position. I played the position. I know. Like, if you let me throw the leg as wildly as, bro, I'm taking you out, son. Bro, it was Turkish football out there, bro. It was Turkish football.
Football.
It was as dirty as it could get. It was literally as dirty as it could get. And we still should have won that fucking game. Like Nico had his chance back post off of a corner. It was like a flick on from I think the Sassi, and Nico's back post by himself, 2 yards out, hits the post. You got to finish that. You got to finish that. It's like
you need a new striker in January, Joey.
Huh?
You need a new striker in January.
We will talk about that here. We'll talk about that. Hey, so you know what? Let's talk about it right now. We can talk about it right now. I have no fears. Let's talk about my team first, okay? Let's talk about my team first. All right. So
transfer kings.
So I've been very adamant about this. Normally, I'm pretty close to being right about most of these transfer subjects when I actually do deep research. And I have friends who are agents in Europe. That's just a whole nother thing. They're basketball agents and football agents and all sorts of fun shit. So I get a good amount of information about all this shit, especially in France specifically. Okay. I've been talking about Nkuku for the last 4 episodes. Since the beginning of December, I've been telling people about Nkuku. And Nkuku is one of my favorite players. Everybody knows how much I love Christopher Nkuku. Okay? As long as Kolomwani moves, they're going to pull the trigger on Christopher Nkuku. Okay? Like, that's like PSG is going to. If you haven't watched the episodes yet, the reason why that this is even a case is because they've given him 9 in France already. Like, it's his spot. Like, if you haven't seen him in the last few France international breaks, they've given him the spot. And the reason why is because that PSG is trying to line this deal up. They've been trying to line this deal up since they announced Kolomwani and Skriniar are up for sale. Like, this was the whole plan. So now PSG is going to go get Christopher Nkuku probably for around 50 plus some change. Okay, that's what it's going to end up being. For me, everybody knows I'm not one to hide. I'm put on the tin hat if I have to. Fucking it's Victor Osimhen for me. Like, for me, that's the style of striker I need. I need that style. I didn't say I need him. I need that style, okay? I need that profile of striker, all right? And please don't get me Sesko, okay? Like, outside of him, I'm okay with whoever you get me. Because if you're going to spend $60 million on Sesko, just go pay for Victor himself. Like, it's that simple.
Question.
It's really that simple to me.
You said you need the profile, right? Can you not say, or can you not make the argument that you have Osimhen at home in Jackson?
Say that again one more time. I apologize.
Can you not say you have Jackson?
Can I not say I have that profile with Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah, I do not have that profile with Jackson. If you go and look at Jackson's batting stats and area win percentage, it's in the bottom half of this league. Like, it's
aerial duels,
not good. Yes, that's where my issues lie.
Okay.
Is aerial.
Okay.
That's where my issues lie, is aerial. Okay. Like, if I have an aerial threat, this team is it turns into a different monster. Okay, I'm just going to be honest, because the way that Sancho can get to the byline and cross, and the way that Neto can get to the byline and cross, and we're seeing better crossing from Madueke. The way and for me, this is why I keep on saying we fucked up with the O'Meridian situation, because he was that style of striker. We didn't act like we went and got him. Everyone would have been laughing, but it would have been like a Duran situation. Like, that's literally what it would have been. Like, he would have came on in games in the second halves of games or late in games and scored goals, because we would have been whipping the ball. And there is nobody outside of Victor Osimhen that is a bigger target man and a better target man than that man right there right now. Like, to me, I need to stay away from the Victor Gyökeres. I need to stay away from these shorter strikers. I do not need another profile that is exactly like Nico, because in my opinion, with the way that Nico plays, like, there isn't really a guy who is like levels ahead of him. I wouldn't say anyone is really like 3-4 levels ahead of where Nico is. You might say he's 1 level, 2 levels up. I wouldn't say they're 3-4. Like Isak, why am I spending $120 million on Isak And I love Isak. He's one of my favorite strikers in the world. But why am I spending 120 million on Isak when he's similar to what Nico brings? He may be a level ahead of Nico, maybe one level, but not more than that. Like I don't
Not
need that.
120 mil worth. Yeah.
I need a big man.
You need a different profile, 100%. Like you need someone like what's his name? The guy that went to Porto that you guys wanted him.
Yeah, that's what I said. Oh, Meridian.
Meridian.
Meridian. That's what you guys were in for him. You were in for John Duran. You were in for Osimhen. They're all completely different. You need to play the game in different ways. You need to have you need to diversify your attack because not every game is the same. Not every team sets up the same against you. One day you're gonna face a low block. One day you're gonna face a team that presses high and they play at the halfway line. I think Nico Jackson, when he runs out of answers, you need to have
a target man. If you give that kid coming from Brazil a target man, he's gonna flourish. Like that's what, bro. If we had Olivier fucking Giroud still, we would be good. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, I'm not even joking. If we at 37 years old, if we had Olivier Giroud, we would be good. If Tammy Abraham actually could head the ball, we would be good. Because we could have went and grabbed Tammy back. To me, right? To me, if you just go get Victor Osimhen, just don't stop playing the games. You're getting 50 million. Take the 50 million, put 20 on top of it, and say, Napoli, here's 70 million. Okay? Take it or leave. Take this and Cesar Casadei and piss the fuck off. Like, literally. Like, that's what I'd say. I take this and Cesar Casadei and piss the fuck off. You'll get this in 5 payments. That's what I'd say to him. That's it. That's it to me. Like, I see Emmanuel in this swap deal for Osimhen. It's like the most ridiculous thing they could do for themselves. It's literally the most ridiculous thing they could do.
To us or Napoli?
For you guys.
Why you don't think we should get Osimhen?
And we'll go to you guys now because that was the only really thing I needed to talk about my team.
Wait, so why is it ridiculous for us to go for Osimhen?
Because there's two things. One, you need to get money on the books for Rashford. So it have to be swap for swap payment wise. Okay, that's first things first, right? It has to be that because you guys are getting homegrown, the homegrown aspect of it, which could double it up for your FFP situation. Okay, so a sale is the most beneficial thing for you. It has to be a sale. Okay, so that means Napoli has to fork out money. All right, you would have to fork out money the other way. All right, if you forked out around the same, you're limiting yourself to that one player, maybe one more. In my opinion, you should be going with that Rashford money, and it should be 4 different players potentially, like 3 and a youth player. Like if I'm the Manchester United, I'm going and getting like I can name 8 different midfielders right now that could help you in that deep line playmaking role. I could literally name 8 guys. We don't need to have Ederson. If shit, Enzo Lafie is a baller over in Roma right now. There's players all over Europe that you could go and get. All over Europe. Freaking to me, I still think that Humlin guy at Sporting is like was Amarim's rock. He was his rock at Sporting. So like to me, that guy makes a lot of sense. He knows the positioning of both positions in the pivot, not just the deep line playmaking role, but he can be the other player for Ugarte. So then you don't have to play Ugarte every game. You can play someone else next to Humlin, and Ugarte can sit. You know what I'm saying? If you want to play a little bit more attacking, because Humlin can. Once you have Humlin, he can generate. He controls the game and comes back and defends at a high level. So to me, that's a really smart signing. Like if you go back and you steal him from him. The only problem is he's not as mobile, not hugely mobile. Like he's not like this destroyer, cover a ton of ground type of player. He keeps it ticking. but his defensive work is really good.
More like a younger Matic.
Okay, and he can shoot from long range. That's the other thing. He has.
He's more like Matic. Yeah.
Say.
I said he's more like a younger Matic.
Yeah. Very much like a Matic. Very much like a Matic. You go get Sever Naipan, the kid from Rosenberg, as the young kid who play. You could play him in the 10. You can play him in the left 10. You can play him in the right 10. He's an attacking, technical player. Okay, like they were brilliant. If you didn't know, it was a stroke of genius for them. Okay, if you guys didn't see this, stroke of genius of putting a preseason game against Rosenberg this year, because they have this kid, Sever Naipan, is one of the most talented kids in Europe right now. Like one of the most talented kids in Europe. So getting a preseason game against the team that you're already creating that link to go buy that
trial
player.
It's
so to me, brilliant move. Okay, you go and get a fullback, and you can get all this done with just some Rashford money, in my opinion.
Just because of how PSR works, you can do that.
You don't need a ton of money for Hunman. Hunman's going to cost you $40 million. You don't need a ton of money if you went and got a Dorgu from Lecce to play left wing back. Then you have three guys who, from just Rashford, you recreated your left-hand side from just one player instead of going and just getting Victor Osimhen. And I get they have striker issues. I get that. But everything else is a problem too. And
I get what you're saying, but
in that area.
I agree with you, but I feel like also there's another way to look at it. In the summer, I expect us to move on Casemiro. Now, I don't know how much money we'll get from him, but if we sell him to Saudi Arabia, we'll probably get a decent amount for him. I expect a lot of pieces to be moved. Hopefully, Garnacho's one of them. He's another one that will be pure profit on the books because he's an academy player. I don't know who else, but I mean, we could sit here and we could probably say the whole team needs to be sold. I don't know who's actually going to be sold, but there's a lot of them that can be moved on. Hopefully, Bruno's also one of them. So, as much as you say all this with Rashford, I also look at it as like, well, maybe they'll do more of that in the summer, whereas now, because the January window is much shorter and we are in desperate need of the striker. And by the way, Xerxes can also be a move going to Italy, and that's one factor we didn't talk about.
I know Xerxes is going to go to Italy.
I hope he does, because I don't think this is the right team for him.
Juve's coming back for Xerxes next year. Okay, they're coming because they couldn't get him from off of Bologna. Okay, this was
I think Juve's going to come back for him, and maybe this January we'll give him back.
That's Mota's striker. That's his guy. They're coming back for him. Okay, Dusan Vlahovic is at the end of his contract. Juve wanted him in the summer before you guys even got an opportunity. Bologna wouldn't sell him because the way that Mota left, and now he's at Manchester United. Juve's going to come back to Manchester United, offer him 35-40 million for him, and he's gone. And that'll be straight. But to me still, the one that makes sense is Gyökeres. That's the one that makes sense to me, because you already got 50 goals out of the guy, right? If anything,
you think he can translate that in the Premier League though? And that's
under this manager, yes.
Yes, only
under this manager, because of the way that the style of play is. Like, you already see it with Xerxes, right? In the Everton game, right? Specifically, his back to goal play is brilliant. Sets up the goal for the first goal for Rashford. Basically, you know what I'm saying? And that's all what Gyökeres does, except Gyökeres has a turn on him and he's able to score. That's the style of striker. So if you get Osimhen, it makes sense. Okay, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but I'm saying for your team, for the.
No, you're talking about financially. I get you. You're saying financially, you can do a lot more than doing Osimhen.
Let's say if this was. Let me give you an example, right? Let's say if it was Sancho instead of Rashford, right? Let me just say if it was Sancho instead of Rashford that you're swapping for Osimhen. I say 100% do it. Do it because of the way that the wage is structured, what you owe on the player, like all that you put into consideration. But when you're talking about an academy player and you want to sell an academy player, the worth of that academy player, think about it. What we did with what that Mason Mount deal is. We went and bought Caicedo, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the amount that you get from an academy player, it's worth way more cash
It's
wise,
like 4 or 5
way
times
more
worth.
on your FFP books, way more. And hey, if it's not Guy Perez, cool. But if you're gonna spend big on a striker, you go and get the guy that he already knows. You know what I'm saying? It just makes way more sense. And like you don't go and get a guy who you necessarily is not as good with his back to goal, right? You're more hoping on the cross aspect of the game. You're more hoping on being able to get the ball into the box in the air.
When I throw the ball in the box, yep.
So like once again, does that profile go back to what you're looking for? Because this makes me feel, this Osimhen deal makes me feel more like the old Manchester United. Like you're going for the name, not the profile. And what you guys need to be doing specifically is going for specific to, you need specialists is the best way. You need specialists per position. Like you got to stop going away. You got to get away from getting these players and you just hope you can mold them into the role that you can hope you can get them. You got to get a specialist for what you look at. That's why I say you go get Humland, because Humland's already a proven player in a position to go. I know that Manchester United fans are going to be like, oh, it feels like Ajax again, right? They're going to get X sport, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're going to be going in their head. But I'm not saying you have to get these players. I'm giving you the name so you can look at a profile that looks exactly like this person.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's why I say if you went and got Ederson, it would make sense. But Ederson's also not as good as a passer as Humland. There's some of these things that you got to look at. Like,
yeah.
And that's what, if you're going to do a rebuild, right? If you're actually going to sit here and say, Joe, Manchester United needs a rebuild, then are you getting profiles?
16 players.
Are you getting, no, that's a question for him. That's the question for him.
Wait, say that again. If I'm selling,
if I'm sitting here and I'm saying, Staffy, Manchester United need a rebuild, how does it have to happen and how many players do we need to look at getting rid of?
I've already said the top 3 earners need to go, aka Rashford, Bruno, Casemiro. And I said, in a way, I get what you're saying, but I said United need to go for opportunistic signings. So when I say opportunistic signings is Tyler Dibbling as an example. Southampton getting relegated. He's a profile that fits us. Go sign him right away. Don't even think about it. Just go sign him right away.
I would sign him
what's their name?
In January if you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wolves are getting relegated. Go right away. Give them 60, 70 million. Be like, give me Ait-Nouri and Cunha on a discount. You're getting relegated. Go sign those 2 and don't even think about it. Scavenge around as much as you can, because right now, and I agree with Joey, he named more names, obviously, but I'm using those examples in terms of you need to replace this squad with a lot of players. And let's be honest, not all of them are going to be successful signings. Some of them are going to fail. That's why you need to sign more. The same thing that happened with Chelsea. To rebuild a team, they signed so many players. Some of them didn't even debut for the club. They just signed them, loaned, and flipped them for cash and just brought in another player. You need to bring in a lot of players, and you need to get the best opportunities available. I can't, as an example, go get a Kudus. Would Kudus work at United? Maybe, yeah. I think stylistically he would. But that means I need to go negotiate one of the toughest contracts in England right now, 80 million. I want him, but I'm not in a situation where I need to go and do that. I can go get someone similar in Cunha, as I said, who might cost me 30 million just because of them, if they get relegated, you get what I'm saying? And stylistically, they fit also what we're trying to do. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You just need to go for all of these opportunistic signings that come along, because some of them will work. The only thing I thought about, you open up my eyes to a few things when talking about Osimhen. The only reason I also looked at it as it might be an opportunistic signing, just because we know he was arguably worth 100 million, according to Napoli at least. And if it wasn't for the whole situation of him going on loan and then what's the call?
Now he would have been bought by us for 70 million if it wasn't for that.
He's worth less now just because of all that. So like Osimhen is worth 60 million. Like he's worth more. He's 62. So I look at it as like, yes, it is an expensive signing, but it's opportunistic because it was much more. It's like if you're driving across a dealership and you see, I don't know, a
Let me ask
Benz
you
or
this,
something
Daffy.
that's
Let
on
me ask you this.
25%. It's expensive, but why
Let me
the
ask
hell
you
is
this.
it 25% cheaper? That's what I'm looking at Osimhen as.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
get you. I get you.
Because you wouldn't sign an Osimhen for 60 million bro, like in a regular market, we got Holland for 75. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's the only way.
But you guys, the thing is I feel like the other thing that you have to stop doing, right, is you got to stop looking at your old signings as benchmarks. Okay, like the with like now especially like you got to look at like how Manchester United are going to spend, and they've already shown you this a little bit, right? With like more in a smarter way. Like how do they spend in a smarter way? So with the De Ligt Mazraoui deal, it ends up being two veteran players that you get from Bayern Munich at a low cost that both can be contributors, right?
Opportunistic signing.
Right?
That's exactly what I was describing.
Right? But when you talk about that number, when you talk about the number and how it was laid out and the reason why it took so long to actually be done is both of the players were how the split of the payment was is majority of the time why these deals take longer than as long as they do. Okay. So with Victor though, you're talking, okay, it's a $68 million release clause, 75 million euros, 68 million pounds release clause. Okay. If you go in, you have that's all up front. That's all up front. That's full payment all up front. That's where that's where the difference is. Where for us, we're 1-2 pieces away. For you, you need to diverse it and split this bitch up as much as you can so you can get, because especially with the Rashford money, it's the Rashford and the Garnacho money. Those two are the most important on how you spend it, because everything else, because like even with like think about how we spent with Enzo Fernandez. You have to spend more and then get it split up. This with Osimhen, Napoli ain't doing that shit. That's just that's how they work. The problem is it's at Napoli. You're working with Napoli too.
Yeah, they want a
Napoli
lot of
is
the
a
money.
pain in the dick. Like no pun intended. But any midfielders or wingbacks, because I know that's the other position, left wing back. Are you looking for wingbacks for both sides, you think, or just one side?
Yeah, I mean the left side is the main priority. The left side is dead.
Left
That's why
side.
we went and got that Paraguayan kid, but we're not gonna get him until next summer when he turns 18.
Yeah.
Pedro Leon. I don't know if we'll sign someone. I think we need to. I think it would be feasible to sign a wing back in January, because I don't think those positions are as expensive as signing a 10 a
Agree. I mean,
striker.
like I said Patrick Dorgu. He's at Lecce, 18 million. He's probably one of the best young left wingbacks in
Who?
the world right now.
Who?
Patrick Dorgu. He's a Danish kid.
Oh, I don't know. Where does he play?
Lecce in Italy. Yeah, he's a kid's good. Kid's really good. Go watch some comps for him. I mean, the comps pretty much do him as the justice of how he
But what
plays.
did you think? We need a Premier League talent. I feel like we lack signings from the Premier. Like when you look at all of our recent signings,
who I've been talking about for Manchester United, that every time I bring it up to a Manchester United fan, they just scoff at me though, is the guy from what's the team that was up last year? What are the teams that got relegated last year, Link?
Burnley were one.
Burnley,
Who got relegated?
Sheffield,
Luton.
and
Luton, the
Luton.
kid from Luton.
The left back,
Yeah, the left wing back from Luton.
Doughty or something.
Yeah,
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Doherty.
Oh, you want us to sign him?
Yeah, Doherty. Yeah, because there's two things. He's a good crosser of the ball, like extremely good crosser, physical, take free kicks, and he will cost you nothing coming from that league. Costs you pennies.
And
And
this
he's
is
already
the thing.
he's already played well in this league. That's the thing. Like he's already played well in this league.
I don't see Ineos spending the way you have to do some of the same things Chelsea has done to flip the squad, like buying players, missing on some, et
I don't think
cetera,
we
et cetera.
can.
But exactly. I think like some fans are going to have to realize that this is going to be incremental progress because you're having to rebuild a new foundation. Like rebuilding Man U as a club. Because you're going
I
to have
mean, like, let me
you're
be
going to
honest
put
with you,
most of these
bro.
players.
This is about a $500 million rebuild, in my opinion. Let me just be straight up about it, right? It's a $500 million
number
rebuild.
of windows.
It can be done
That's
in
what I'm
2
more talking
windows. If they
It won't.
let me finish. You want to shake your head? Let me finish. It can be done in 2 windows if they sell 3 academy players for over 40 million apiece. If they literally, it could be done in 3. Let me say it again. It could be done in 3 windows if they sell 3 academy players for over 40 to 50 million pounds apiece.
But
that's simple, really. It's really that easy.
It is that simple, but they are not Chelsea. That's my point. I just don't feel like they will do that. I know that. How much it was.
I know that. But
to be fair, we sold a lot of academy players in the summer. So,
I mean, I'm just saying. But yeah, but what that was your 40 that you made last year. That was the 40 that you got from last year. That was the 40 that you made. I mean, like,
no, I'm just saying that in a way where Link is saying we're not Chelsea. Of course, we're not Chelsea. I'm just saying,
but we sell differently, right? We're different. We're not even
better sales.
Nobody's like us, bro. Nobody.
It's not like one like attribute or one facet that's gonna say like, oh well, Chelsea does this so much better. It's just if you look at like how proceedings, you'd have to have 3 academy products that are worth 25 mil, and then you have to sell them correctly and get them above their transfer value. I don't know where
they have them.
The academy is. Exactly, but I know who you've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Man U isn't selling Kobe, right? So like, who are these 3 players?
That's the gem to propel them to, and they don't have to sell them right away. That Link, right? 2 years from now, Amram has 2.5 years. Okay, 2 years from now. This is the conversation they're going to be having.
But you said
right here. Years. What we're talking about right now, this Kobe conversation. 2 years from now, Amram has 2 years, 2.5 years. Okay, it's going to be between him and the kid. Okay, that's what it's going to be because he's not fitting unless he plays him in the 10, which I hope he does. I love watching him play football. Okay, so it's not even like I hate on the kid, but until he plays him in that 10 position, which we haven't seen yet, that's the conversation that we're going to have in 2 years. Right? It might not even be 2 years. Within 2 years, let's say that.
2 years. So you say 2 years, but my point was it was like 5 windows. So that's 2.5 years. 5 windows is 2.5 years. So like saying it won't happen, but it's going to be more than 3 windows.
But it could be done in 3 is my point.
It can be done.
It could be done. You got Ratchford this one, Nacho in the summer, Kobe in January. Rebuild the entire fucking thing.
Kobe's not getting sold next January, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Kobe's not getting sold next January, bro. There's no way.
We have some other academy products, don't we? We got Collier and them guys. We can move them on.
Yeah,
I get it. No, I totally get it. We sit here and we talk about Reece James all the time. The same thing. He doesn't even deserve what Kobe's getting because he's injured all the fucking time, and we treat him like we can't sell him, and that's fine with me. I don't want to sell him. I don't even. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those. I'm you with Kobe. That's how I am with Reece. He's injured all the time. He never fucking plays, and I still don't want to sell him. I get it. But that's what it's gonna take, my man. That's what it's gonna take. Unfortunately, right?
Now, I get what you're saying.
You're talking 5 windows. You know, because it's 4 guys that you're talking. What do we have left from 2000? What do we have left from 2021? From 3 years ago? Reece James and Ben Chilwell. And Ben Chilwell's on his way out in January. Yeah. That's it.
Chilwell's out. I was going to say.
So we got Reece James.
I forgot that guy's on your team. Where's that trash going anyways?
Yeah. Like,
Knows
I
West
don't even
Ham.
wish Ben Chilwell on you. I don't even wish that on you guys anymore. I actually want to see what you guys can build because it would be fun to compete with you guys again like that.
I don't know if
That
it'd be fun.
That's my idea of it. Like if they want to copy us, let's see how it works out.
Bro, you know who I can't wait to be moved on. I'm not gonna lie, Luke Shaw. And I'm actually a fan of Luke Shaw. I've defended him for years. I actually don't think he's a bad player like people say.
Who?
I can't wait for him to be moved on.
Sancho?
No, Shaw.
Shaw.
Shaw, yeah, Shaw. I mean, what did he have?
Shaw.
1 year, 2 years left on his contract?
He has 3 years, bro.
Yeah, they just re-signed him to a new contract because he stayed healthy for like new contract.
He got, I think, a new contract.
I am Daily. You're not understanding the comparison. I'm comparing the love we have for our academy product and the way that they love their academy product. Okay, that's the difference. Yeah, Kobe hasn't done anything in his career. Reece James won a Champions League final, won a championship.
Hey, he scored in the FA Cup final.
Hey, he won an FA Cup. He won an FA Cup. Hey,
and he scored.
But
he
against
comparatively, okay.
That Liverpool goal still haunts me.
Comparatively, but yes, you see what I'm saying. That's not what we're talking about. But yeah, like
my boy was ready to fight.
Yeah, he was ready to defend his man. See what I'm saying? We got loyal fucking mans for Reece James.
Bro, don't make me bring Griggs here. Griggs was here.
I mean, Griggs. Yo, Griggs. I know Griggs is mad about Rashford. I know he's mad.
Griggs is hyperventilating talking about Kobe.
I think a tweet from Griggs saying, "Let me go back and see some like 2018 Rashford comps or some shit." In the middle of this, like right after he came out with his interview,
hey,
I was like, I feel it, but this is what it's gonna take. You see how many fans from Chelsea were upset about Mason Mount? You see how mad people fucking got about Mason Mount?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's what's gonna take. It is what it's gonna take. Unfortunately, it's just the way the rules are built. That's the worst part about it. The rules are built for you to.
The players. It's so frustrating.
It is. That's literally what it is too. It's crazy.
And then they're going to wonder in 4 years why they don't win a world.
For you to advance economically in football at this current moment, the best way to do it is to be able to sell your youth academy players.
Look at Liverpool's transfer business lately.
It's moving forward the most economically. So that's just the way that the rules work. But all right, so now that we've gotten the Victor situation out of the way, right? Staffy, give me a couple other guys that you think in January that can help you right now, like a left wing back. Obviously, we kind of talked about that. Any other?
What we need or what's realistic? There's a fine line between them.
Sure. What's realistic?
Because that's the tougher question. I gotta tell you what we need versus what's realistic. Because
let me tell you what though. I do feel like you'll have somewhere around 100 million to be able to spend with Rashford being sold. Okay, so it like you'll be able to spend somewhere between 60 to 80 million. I'm guessing.
If Rashford gets sold, we're 100% signing an attacker. I don't know if it's a 10 or if it's a 9. Probably a 10 because I don't think he was trying to use Rashford as a 9 anyways. I think that let's combine both questions together.
Mm-hmm.
We need a lot of things in priorities. Obviously, we already spoke about the left wing back. The left hand side in general is dead.
Right. There's a lot to do on the left hand side.
10 and left center
back. You probably could use them.
And left center back as well. Actually, I just forgot because I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go too far because I still think Branthwaite is like direct line to you guys in the summer. Like,
he's been a priority since last year. So that one's gonna wait until the summer. And as long as Lissandro's there, he's shit, but he's there. So we actually have
the holding piece right now. He's just holding somebody else.
Exactly, holding piece. He's just filling that place for now. I think there's a big issue in that left center mid, in that left 10. That's why we keep chopping and changing. One day Menu's there, one day Casemiro's there, one day Bruno's there. And then you go to the 10, one day Bruno's there, one day Garnacho's there, one day Rashford is there, one day Xerxes there, These are the two positions that he's struggling to find an answer to, and it's because none of these guys are specialists in those two positions. Bruno's shoehorned there because maybe he's a better ball progressor than Casemiro, but then Maino's shoehorned there because he has better ball retention. I think left 10 is the biggest issue. I think if you say Rashford, he will try to see out the season, shuffling between the players that he has playing in the left center mid position, but in the 10, especially with Mount getting injured, I think he really liked Mount and he really wanted to give him a
Because
chance.
Mount actually is a specialist for that role.
And remember, he used to play there for you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
That's why
that injury hurt him the most.
For those inside 10 roles. Like, that's what he actually is. Like,
And I know, I agree. And guess what? He started him against who in that position 2 games? Arsenal and City. The 2 toughest games that we had, he actually saved them for these games. So it just shows me how he was planning it. Now, obviously, he's out for about 10 weeks. I think that kid is done anyways, even when he comes back. I think he sells Rashford and he goes to left 10. I don't know who he wants. And I don't know what deal could be done. I want someone from the Premier League because I feel like, as I said, we signed too many players that come from outside the Premier League.
Bro.
And it's tough. I agree. It is difficult.
Especially sometimes you don't need to if you do the scouting right.
But I get you. I get you. But I'm just saying you're asking me for what
Yeah. Continue.
I think you got to rate.
You know a lot more players globally than me, anyways.
Yeah. I know. I talk like I.
And that's fine because I learned from you, anyways. I like to listen to people. I always say this. I like to be in a room where I'm not the smartest person. When I'm not the smartest person, I learn from everyone else. That's a life lesson I always had. I'll sit here, and if I think I'm the dumbest person, that's actually very good because I'll leave with a lot of information. So I look at some of the options, who I like. Obviously, I talked to you a couple weeks ago about Kvaratskhelia, but we know financially that is an impossible deal.
Mm-hmm.
Probably never gonna get that. Lookman, I really like Lookman, but I don't think we're gonna get him because of especially where Atalanta are right now. They're going for a league. I think they would be stupid if they sell anyone right now.
Yeah, they can't.
That might be the one league you ever win in your lifetime over there. Just see out the season and get money later.
They're not. Atalanta is a really well-run club. Like a really
they're financially stable.
They have nothing financial to worry about. So it's like
no, but I'm saying when the money comes in, worry about making money later. Trust me. Even if you don't win the league, you'll still sell these players in the summer. Everyone's looking at Atalanta right now and they're looking their chops. I really want Cunha. And I wasn't a big fan of Cunha, but I really want Cunha. I like who he is. Over a year ago, I just thought he was so wasteful in front of goal, and I'm not gonna lie, he shut me up since. His ball carrying, his tenacity. As I said, he already has the experience of playing in the Premier League. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of link up with the Portuguese Mendem anyways. I feel like he'll adapt quicker to the team anyways. For what he does and the position we'll use him for, I think he'd be perfect there. I think Wolves' situation as well, it helps us a lot that they're looking. And you know how Premier Leagues are.
Sell him though and rebuild because they just got a new manager, so they could sell him and rebuild.
And they could just say we're gonna get.
You know these teams
because they need center backs bad over at Wolves.
They need a lot, bro. They need a lot. This is the worst Wolves team I've seen
really
in a while.
At the back line, bro. Them selling Kilman has been
ruin them.
It's ruined them. It's ruined them. Like you don't even understand. Like that linchpin that they had back there. And this is why, like, now that you're like talking, now we're talking about it, like I was thinking, Cunha they probably wouldn't do that. But now that I think about it, like they probably would. Like they probably would for like a $40-50 million number. I think they would.
And I think he would fit what really do. That left 10. Imagine that left 10. You have Ahmad on the right and you have Cunha on the left. That is respectable.
But this is even.
No, then you
can play him at the 9 sometimes.
You bring in a couple kids in that could actually, like, a couple young players in that, like this Nipon kid. He'll probably be coming in. Like it was us and you that are the two teams that were linked with them, and you guys are way ahead of us from what I read. So the Nipon kid, if you get a chance, Staffy, he plays for Rosenborg. Go watch him. He's more than likely going to your club. Like from what I've read. Okay. He can play. He is like a Mount type of player, but his technical ability and physical ability, like he's a big fucking kid. Like he's already like 6'1", and you guys got to see him against when you played him against Rosenborg, But if you ever get a chance to just like turn on a game, like on just like catch Rosenberg playing at a certain point, like watch him because he's a really talented kid. But like you get someone like him, you get a real left wing back, and then you get a young kid to be the backup over there. And then this is what you do. You like we went and bought Gusto. You know what I'm saying? From Lyon. What we should have did is we should have went and got Gusto. We should have got Lukeba there while we were sitting there because he was getting sold at the same time. We probably would have had Barcola if he wasn't putting his feet underwater in Paris. Like we would have had all these. We could have had the entire squad from Lyon that they were trying to get rid of. Link is going to get jerky probably. Like these are players
Hey, we
that
could do
you
with
need to
Cherokee
start
too.
building a young core underneath the starting team too at the same time. Like you can't just do because like your backups are just so bad that you need just some talented young backups to come in. That's what it is. Like that's why like as soon as you see yourself linked with like an 18, 19-year-old kid, you should be looking up and seeing like, can this kid translate to be?
Bro,
like,
I think we just signed another player today, or they're saying we're about to sign someone.
Man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a
trying
kid that we're
flip the
about to
squad.
sign. He's
because you guys got that Kone kid too, the defensive
Cedar Kone.
midfielder. He's supposed to be really highly rated.
Cedar Kone, and what's his name? Even the one that we signed from Arsenal,
Cheeto Martin.
Cheeto. Yeah, he just needs like a year or so before he.
Yeah, bro. He'll be in that team by the way
Yeah.
very soon because that kid is how old is he? I think he's 16,
Yeah,
17.
he's really talented. Really
And he's
they took a
physically,
kid
he's much
Rio.
bigger.
They took a kid Rio who's pretty talented. He just runs with his head down though. He runs with his.
No, he's
head.
got to put. I seen him putting his head up lately. I seen videos of him.
But no, but you know what I'm talking about though. He has all those trick videos and all of it's like head fucking in the dirt,
bro. When all
like
those
Sterling level head down, like that's
bro,
what it reminded
all the
me of.
compilations from the summer. I didn't. It was just, and I'm just like, bro, please look at someone on your team. But no, he's getting better at that. I have noticed that. But
Salah had that problem early in his career. So
Salah did too. But you saw
like, I'm not even. He had that problem early in his career. So I can't even say much.
You saw Rashford. You can.
But yeah, bro. Like that's the thing. You know what it is?
This window.
You know what it is like. Staffy, you just need to download Football Manager and just go play Football Manager for a couple hours and go like just see what the talents are and the young talents are.
Bro, I used to learn a lot about these young talents from
career turn on Football Manager for a little bit.
I found.
You know what I used to do growing up, bro? I used to learn about a lot of these players.
You want to know what, Staffy? You want to know what, Staffy? The only reason Ahmed knows anything about any of those French fucking players is because that's the only place he scouts on Football Manager. So don't let him fool you that he watches.
Yeah.
I respect it, bro.
Don't let him fool you that he watches French football.
My man Scout is so chopped and Ren's on Football Manager for the last 5 years.
Who's the 4.5 star?
I remember
4.5 star potential.
I remember from FIFA, bro, years ago. I don't remember which one, and I used to always scout all the youngsters to see if I could sign them to my academy and my team in FIFA. And I remember signing this kid, Memphis Depay, and he was so young. He was like 16 years old in the game or something like that. He was so fucking young. And I remember a couple years later, he made his debut for the Netherlands or something. I was like, oh shit, that's the kid that I was scouting a couple years ago. That's how I knew all my fucking talent growing up. It was just FIFA, bro. The older I fucking got and the less time I had for FIFA,
bro, I use Football Manager and then I go and I like the players that I like, through Football Manager and like stats wise, I'll go and I'll watch them in real life because I have so much. I have everything now. Like I have beIN Sports, I have YouTube TV, Peacock. I have all of it to be able to watch whatever. Paramount to watch Italian League. Like I have everything. So like I'll literally while I'm playing FIFA. Like turn something on and then just wait for the commentary and rewind to hear while they have the ball and stuff.
See what they did.
So it's fun, bro. Like I've enjoyed learning way more about European football over the last like I would say 2 years, 3 years, like I've gotten real deep into like learning about like some of the younger talents that are around the world. Bro, there are some talents in leagues, bro, that you could go right now and pick up a left winger from Sassuolo. He's been a starter he played in the French team. Armand Loriente. He's playing in Serie B right now, in the same team that Dominic Berardi's playing in. He's the other side. He's the winger on the other side, and you could probably scoop him for 15 million, 10, 15
Look
million.
at the guy I just sent you. I sent it in the private chat. He plays in the Malayan league. We're scouting in Mali now.
Hey, man.
Yeah, bro.
Look, another young player.
Hey, that work is vast.
What do you think that Brighton's been doing for the last fucking 10 years?
But that's what's good, bro. I sent it to
South America.
RSM earlier. I was like, we're doing what Chelsea does.
Mhm.
Obviously, there was a little bit of a joke that I was like, we're moving like Chelsea.
Yeah.
I like, bro, my club for years has not made these signings where, oh, they're signing this young player from here and he's joining in the summer.
You have
I always love these signings. When I see a
think
club
ahead.
that signs someone that says he's joining in the summer, I'm like, bro, why do we never do that? We rarely ever do that.
Bro,
And
listen to
they
this,
always
right?
end up being good.
Listen to this, right? So we went and we bought the kid who the Brazilian the U18 World Cup happens a year after the World Cup, right? And the Brazilian DM, the captain for Brazil, is balling throughout the entire year. He's 18 years old, and we went and scoop him up, right? Now, every Chelsea fan in their moms wants this kid in the first team. He's out in Strasbourg. He's the highest rated midfielder in the league, in League One. He's outplaying João Neves. He's outplaying all these men in League One. And we scoop him up for 8 million from the Brazilian league. He's easily one of the best young talents in the world. We scoop him up for like 8 million, bro. 10 million. Viega's a 8 million pound giant. He's a giant. Look at the chat. As soon as I bring up the guy's name, the chat goes like, what, like, bro, like this is what this Esteval. He's only 60 million if he hits all the accolades, but we got him for 30 million. He's supposed to be Messi. He's supposed to be Neymar now, supposedly. That's what they say in Brazil. He had the best year a 17-year-old has ever had in that league. 20 and 17, 20 goals and 17 assists in that league as a 17-year-old. We got him. Like this is the forward thinking that I wanted from time ago. That's what we did with Aiden. This is why I love that generation of football so much. It's what we did with Aiden at 2000 after we won the World Cup. After we won the Champions League, what did we do? We went and picked up Aiden Hazard. Like at 18 years old. Like these are the things that you have to keep that forward thinking. And like that's why when I talk about finances and football and I bring up like it doesn't make sense for you to go and do Osimhen when you can get 4 or 5, potentially 4 players to be able to help you rebuild your side and have them help you right now, you know. You'll be all right. Just don't do what Spurs did and just fill it up with all those young talents and not have the starters up in front of them. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I hear
you. That's the only thing I could say. But we're going to wrap it up here. Staffy, thanks for coming on, my man. I appreciate it.
So
we went a little over an hour, so I appreciate your time. I hope you have a nice holiday. I know you don't celebrate Christmas, but I hope you have a nice holiday. Link, I hope you have a nice holiday. I need to go take a shower so I can get ready for my holiday. And everyone, you guys know we always leave you with Kobe. Like you see Kobe in the background with Staffies. We leave you with Kobe. So hope you guys have a nice night.
How much more do you want from me?
More.
How much more successful do you want me to be?
More successful.
How many records can my records break?
More records.
But I'm the best.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.